What's up, fellow bookworms, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dylan, and today I am super excited for this video because I've been waiting for it, you've been waiting for it, we've all been waiting for it. It's finally here. The brand new Kindle Scribe just showed up at my door just a few minutes ago. Now, this video is not going to be an in-depth review because, like I said, I've only just gotten this thing and it feels disingenuous, if that's the right word, to offer a review of a product that I've only just gotten. I know there are already a few reviews up right now on YouTube. I don't know exactly what experience they're using in that review, but anyway, in this video, we're just going to open this thing up, look at it together. I'll offer some first impressions of this device. So let's get started. So I knew this Kindle was going to be big, but I was not prepared for how huge this box is. It feels almost as big as my iPad, maybe even the same size. I'm not really sure. But the packaging is going to be pretty familiar if you have seen or unboxed a Kindle product. It's the same blue cardboard or cardstock paper with the white simple background. And we've also got the pretty standard little pull tab here to open the box up. We've got the familiar cardboard inside with some, it looks like wax paper around the device itself. And there's also a bit more reinforcement in the box. If you had another Kindle product before, you probably know that it just comes in like a really thin cardboard stock paper box. But this one's reinforced with a nice thicker layer of like that same cardstock paper. It's, you know, not going to protect it from a major fall, but it is a little bit more protection than what we've seen in other Kindle products, which is nice. This came in a regular cardboard box for me, but sometimes Kindle products can show up in the Amazon like plastic bag type packaging. So it was nice to see that it was a little bit well protected. So we've got two pieces here. We've got the Kindle itself, and then we've got some packaging here with some branding. We've got a pretty simple startup guide. Hello, howdy yourself there, Kindle, with some pretty basic instructions. Turn it on, sit by the fire, and read is the short version there. In this little bottom compartment, we've got the tips for the pen, I assume is what these are. It's about the size of a little matchbox, if that helps you out to understand a bit of the scale here. We've got 5 spare tips, which I really don't know how often you need to replace the tips. That's something that I'll have to look into myself. But we've got 5 spares there, which I assume is going to last a good long while. And then we've got the premium pen, which comes in like a really thick wax paper. This pen is the, again, premium pen. There's the standard pen. The difference between the standard and the premium is that the premium has a eraser and eraser. It's actually kind of like spring-loaded. You can feel it as it presses down. And then we've got the click button here, which I'm interested to see what, if anything, this button will do other than swap between writing and highlighting and possibly different pen strokes. Then, of course, we've got the USB-C charging cable here. This has become standard across all Kindle devices. So if you've got multiple Kindles, you can use the same chargers for all of them, except for the Oasis, which still has the USB-C charging port. And then onto the Kindle itself. Like I said, it's wrapped in a like thick, I guess, wax paper that feels kind of nice, but it is just a little sheet of paper. All right, so yeah, this looks a lot to me like an iPad. First impression is iPad-esque. It's the same. If it was an Apple product, this would be called space gray backing, but since it's Amazon, it's called something else that I don't recall off the top of my head. And there are these 4 little rubber bumpers that are going to make the device stay perfectly in place on the desk. My desk is slightly uneven. There we go. A little bit better there. Still a little bit wiggly, kind of, but probably just the desk itself. Now, the boot up process is a little bit involved. I'm not going to make you watch the entire boot up process, so I'm going to get this thing set up, and then you can join back up with me in just a second. I almost forgot to show you guys that the power button is actually going to be on this left-hand side, which is a nice upgrade from the Paperwhite, which has the button at the bottom as well as the base model Kindle. And then the charging port is also going to be right next to the power button on the left-hand side on this nice thick bezeled edge. And one last, by the way, if you've seen my other Kindle videos where I talk about the Scribe, you know that I wasn't really a fan of this bezel. It kind of just, I mean, I understand it's a nice place to hold the device while you're reading it. That makes a lot of sense, but it almost just kind of feels wonky to have this big screen, a 10.2-inch display with a probably 1.5 inch, maybe even 2-inch wide bezel off to the side. But that's a minor thing. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to start this thing up and I'll catch up with you in a second. All right, so we're all set up here and ready to go. It only took at most 5 minutes. One of the really great things about the Kindle is that if it's already connected to your Amazon account, really all you have to do is turn it on and you're already logged in. It remembers your Wi-Fi and your password, so you're just already good to go out of the box if you have already set up another device and you already have an account. And it looks the same as the other Kindle devices with one really important difference, and that is this little tab down here called Notebooks. So this is the feature that I'm most excited to see in this device because I know what books look like on the Kindle. I will show you guys what those look like in just a second, but I'm most excited to see what the note-taking capabilities, functionality is going to be like on this device. So it says to make a note, press the little plus symbol at the top, and let's create a notebook, see how that looks like. We'll call it test. Okay, taking notes on your Kindle. All right, looks good. All right, let's test this out. Oh, never mind. Meet your writing toolbar. Okay. We're just gonna dismiss that. Okay, so pardon my handwriting here, but let's write something. All right, this is the new Kindle Scribe. Well, that is beautiful handwriting and very original. This is, yeah, the beginning of a masterpiece. So pressing the button this far away does not do anything. Oh, by the way, I wanted to do this first thing. I waited to do this on camera. The pen is magnetic and it clips to the side of the device. So let's see. Let's get this satisfying snap here. Wow. Amazing. And it doesn't have a battery, so it doesn't need to charge. It just rests there when you're not using the pen. But the writing feels really natural. It feels like I'm writing on a piece of paper. Like I guess it's probably the tip more so than the screen, but it just feels really natural and just really smooth. I don't know what that is. That's not English. But let's test out some other modes here. So this is what? Oh, this is highlighting / maybe marker. If I want to highlight something here. That looks pretty nice. Of course, it's not in color. It's just like a gray highlight. But it's nice to be able to highlight kind of freehand. Let's see what else. This is probably the eraser. Yep, this is the eraser, which we can also use the back for. You press it down. It won't, like if you just touch it, it doesn't work. But if you press it down, it erases. That's pretty cool. And then testing out the button. Let's see. Where did the button go? There it is. It's kind of high up. That feels unnatural. Maybe I hold the pencil too low down, but to have the button up here feels a little unnatural. But let's press it onto the screen. Press the button. See if anything happens. Nothing is happening. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I should have paid more attention to the little tutorial. But anyway, yeah, that looks cool and feels really nice to write on this device. So let's go back to the main menu then and try to write in a book and see how that looks. All right, so let's see if we can tap with the pen to turn the page. We can. That's kind of handy, I suppose. Let's kind of flash forward here. Get to the book itself. Cool pictures of Dave Grohl. Okay. So let's make a note. So the biggest complaint of mine about this device is that you can't actually write anywhere on the book. So I can't just like write something in the margin of the book. In order to make a note on the page, you have to tap the sticky notes thing. And then once you've tapped the sticky notes thing, you can then select on the page where you want to make that note, where you want it to stay. So I want to make a note right here in type, or write rather, wow, with an exclamation point, wow. Okay, so then when I'm reading, I'm coming back, say this is a textbook or something, a reference book, and I'm coming back and I see this note, I go, oh, I wonder what I thought about this part, click it, wow. So that's neat. I mean, it looks okay, it looks all right enough there on the page, but it would be really cool to just make a note in the margin or underline, that kind of thing. So not exactly a full customizable note-taking experience, but still pretty interesting nonetheless. So now let's test out the brightness on this device. So it's got the auto brightness feature, which is obviously really convenient, but let's see how bright this thing can get turned all the way up. That is pretty bright. I think there are 30 front-facing LEDs in this device, so the screen is plenty bright. We'll see if it'll fix itself there and go back to where it was. And then there is, of course, the warmth light feature, which is by far one of the simplest but most important features on any Kindle device if you like to read, or in this case, work or take notes at night. Then of course we've got dark mode, which is just pretty standard across devices these days. The colors just invert, the blacks become whites, and then vice versa, which is again a nice feature to have if you are working or reading at night. But one thing that you guys said you wanted to know about this device is whether or not it changes, the page layout changes if you put it into horizontal mode. Sorry, I was a little too bright there. So let's try that. Let's put it in horizontal mode. All right, layout, and let's go horizontal there. Okay, so it doesn't look like there is an option to kind of have like a more natural opening of a book there, which would have been really neat, but I suppose it makes sense because then it would be pretty small on either column. And there's also a page turn animation, so let's turn that on and see how those look. Okay, so it's just a nice little slide. Okay, that looks pretty interesting. All right, let's turn it back to normal orientation here. And another thing I think one of you guys asked is, can you write with your finger? Say you forget your pen or you lose your pen, can I still make notes with my finger? Let's see, I think probably, oh, no, you cannot. That's actually really surprising. I thought for sure you would be able to make a note with your finger, but you cannot. So don't lose your pen, or you will basically not be able to use this device as what it was meant to be used for. That didn't make sense, but you know what I mean. All right, we'll delete that, and let's see. So checking out this little more tab, it's basically just some more stuff you can check out: web browser settings, reading lists, Goodreads, stuff like that. I'm fairly certain that settings are going to be the same, with the exception of some pen settings. Oh, another thing, this is kind of turning into a full-blown review. I didn't want it to, but the Kindle Scribe comes standard with no lock screen ads, meaning that you can use out of the box this feature, display cover, where the display cover or the cover of the book you're reading becomes the lock screen on the device. The device options are basically the same for every other Kindle device, but let's check out pen options and see. So you can set up some pen shortcuts. Let's see, if your pen has a button, press and hold it to use your chosen shortcut tool. Okay, so it's defaulted to the highlighter, and that makes sense because the eraser is built in and the pen is obviously standard, but you can make it so that a hold of the button triggers a sticky note to be made, which that could be really convenient if you're taking a ton of notes. But that's it for pen settings, and then the rest is, like I said, just pretty standard Kindle settings stuff. So So first impressions of the Kindle Scribe. I gotta say, the first thing that pops into my head, maybe it's not a perfect comparison, but is this kind of feels like a desktop computer, whereas, say, the Paperwhite or the Oasis feels kind of more like a laptop. So this would be really good for reading at home, if you're just at the office doing some work, or if you're at home reading, or just like in a stationary setting where you can rest this probably on a desk or rest it on your lap. I really can't imagine holding this thing and reading for long periods of time. It is, razor thin, but still it is about a pound, and if you're going on a really long reading marathon, I could see that holding this for a while would get old pretty quick. But if you've got it on a desk or on your lap, this seems like a really great way to consume a book and take some casual notes. I did not buy this and expect to take a lot of notes on it. I bought this because of the massive display, which I am really pleased with. Like I said, I expected it to be big. I knew it was going to be large, but I didn't expect it to feel and look this large. So reading on this, I think, is going to be fantastic. I'll have to continue to use the note-taking feature, or at least try to. Like I said, I don't take a lot of notes. So that's a feature and a functionality that I personally really honestly don't care a ton about and don't expect to use a lot. So I can't say a lot about that, but I am, like I said, going to be doing a full in-depth review of this product. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you see that when it comes out. It'll be out probably in a few days from when this video is out. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything about this device specifically that you want to know. I know we've already looked at all of the basic features, but if there's anything specific, please let me know in the comments below, and I will definitely try to include it in the full review. So for now, I'm excited to get into reading on this device and checking out all the little hidden features and functionalities, but I'll see you in the full review in just a few days. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.